Hello, everybody. This is Josh Bycer from GameWisdom.com. Welcome to another episode of the Perceptive podcast, where we examine the art and science of games. For this week's cast, this is going to be our E3, reaction cast. As you know, for those of you listening to this cast at a timely manner, E3 2016 was just this week. There are a lot of big announcements, news out of Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony, as well as a lot of surprising game announcements and reveals. And we're going to be talking about that tonight. We have a full house going on tonight here on the cast, so let's welcome everybody on. First, contributor to Game Wisdom, please welcome back James Ellerby.
Hi, I'm the intern.
He's still the intern, folks. Soon, hopefully we'll get him promoted there.
One day I'll be able to play.
And please welcome back to the cast a friend of the site, Ezekiel Jackson.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
It's great to talk again, Ezekiel. How are things going with you?
Everything's going good. Been real busy. So, haven't been doing much gaming. I've just been replaying Skyrim a lot. I'll say that much.
And last but not least, a new guest to the cast. Please welcome Will Graham.
Hello, everyone. I'm the noob. Well, new to the cast, but yeah. Hey, how y'all doing?
It's great to meet you, Will. Tonight we got pretty much a full house. It's been a while since we've had, I think, 4 people on the cast at once. I guess to start with, Will, since this is your first time on, could you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and the kind of games you like to play?
Well, I've been playing games since forever. I don't know, I'm more into RPGs and games that'll take me like a month to beat. I grew up playing Zelda, Resident Evil, well, mostly Zelda games. And it's like, I don't know, it's kind of diverse. The only thing I don't really play much is sports games. Like, I'll play them if a friend buys it and he invites me over to play with him. I'm like, all right, I'll play with you. But as for me owning one, nah. But yeah, I'm into like open world games. Like Skyrim was like one of my top games. I'm also into like pretty much all type of comic books.
I mean, it's definitely an interesting time for the comic book industry, as we're seeing a lot more of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and things really growing beyond just the comic book medium.
Oh yeah.
All right, but for tonight, we're going to be talking about E3. And every year, E3, of course, brings the latest news from the major publishers and developers. And this year was no exception, with big announcements from Sony and Microsoft, as well as Nintendo talking a little bit more about the NX and the big Zelda reveal. So, I think to give this cast some sense of flow, we'll talk about each one of the big companies and our thoughts on what they presented. Let's start, I guess with Bethesda. I think they were one of the first bigger publishers. So Bethesda, I think, announced they're going to bring back Skyrim, or a remastered version of the game. And I was not ever been a big fan of the Elder Scrolls series personally, but I know it is one of the more popular ones. And Skyrim, that was the one that had the enemy scaling. Is that right? And
I believe so.
Yeah, I know that was not looked. I know a lot of people didn't like that, and they sort of moved away from that with Fallout 4. I guess for the group here, were there any big Bethesda announcements that got you excited?
Well, the whole Skyrim being remastered was a big one for me. I thought it was already dope, and I was kind of waiting for Elder Scrolls 6, but they set that one back for development. But hearing Skyrim being brought to like the next gen consoles kind of made me a bit hype. So yeah, I'm kind of hyped for it.
All right. Are you a fan of the Elder Scrolls series too, Ezekiel?
Yeah, I am. I'm really excited the fact that Skyrim is coming to the newer consoles, because I've been replaying Skyrim on my P3, and I've been having this feeling looking at my Xbox being like, God, I just wish they would remaster it. And then I got my wish, so it was really surreal almost. I was like, oh my God, if I do ask, I will receive. So I'm excited, and I can't wait, because honestly, Skyrim is one of those games you can play 100 times, and every time will be different. There's so much to do in that game that you're never really bored. and it's really rare when you get a game like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's always been
true.
the major plug of the Bethesda style RPGs. They just really throw a lot of stuff at you, and it's up to you to decide, what you want to explore, what you want to experience.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing they did with, of course, Fallout 4. Or, I'm sorry, Fallout 3, and then with the expansion. I know they also announced they're bringing the casual or the mobile free-to-play Fallout game to the PC in, I think, July.
Yeah.
Have any of you three played that? Because I don't have access to a smartphone at the moment, but I heard a lot of people getting into it.
Not me. I get a smartphone that's not so smart, so.
I think it's Angry Birds. I'm sorry.
No, actually, it has a lot of good depth into it. I haven't played it personally, but I've seen a lot of stuff on it, and it actually looks really good. Like I've heard it's pulled a lot of people that were not either fans of the series or just didn't really know anything about the series into the Fallout universe.
Interesting.
And gave them a chance to really interact in that world, which helped. I don't know if there's a direct correlation to sales with that, but I'm pretty sure it probably didn't hurt them.
Yeah, and it's another one of those ways to really expand the brand. Like, as a good coincidence, it's been announced that the collectible card game minigame in The Witcher 3 is now going to be its own complete standalone project now that you can play and download.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
And it's kind of interesting to see, like, developers trying to branch out with, like, their properties, but with, like, different themes or different genres. Mm-hmm. Blizzard, of course, has been doing that with, like, Heroes of the Storm and their whole cross-game branding thing. We were talking about this before the cast, but, of course, Overwatch is doing really well. And I wouldn't be surprised if they announce, like, more Overwatch heroes to be in Heroes of the Storm or more cross-game promotions along that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other thing about Bethesda's conference that was a little weird, I think one that was a little bit disappointing for me, was they talked about Doom, and of course how well Doom's been doing, and they announced new content, but they announced all multiplayer content. And I know a lot of people are more interested in single player and expanding things on that side. Have you guys played the new Doom game yet?
I played a little bit, but I guess Bethesda can defend themselves on that aspect because they did mention that they're focused more on like shooting and blowing things up rather than focus on like an actual story.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing they're trying to bring back, the Quake tournament and all of that. So I guess that's part of the hype. But yeah, they pretty much said it several times. We're not trying to make a story. We just want to blow things up and shoot demons.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of weird it's kind of funny that a lot of the complaints about Doom have been for the multiplayer mode, and everyone loved the single player.
But like honestly, like I hate to say it, but in a world where multiplayer is kind of being dominated in a lot of other areas, mm-hmm. like people complaining about the multiplayer on Doom to me almost seems kind of shallow, if I can say that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I mean, if you play Doom, you're not really playing it for the multiplayer.
Yeah.
Saying the multiplayer can't be good, just, I don't, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like they, at least from the developer side, that they want to do more with the single player. They really want to make that the experience. Considering that they put so much time into trying to bring back, the classic 90s first-person shooters, mm-hmm. massive levels, secrets, the whole deal there.
Yeah. Yeah,
but, yep.
Bethesda hasn't really... I mean, when you think Bethesda, your first thought isn't great multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know if that's what they're trying to go for or what, but that's not what we remember them for, and I don't think that's what people are going to be looking for as much either. I think there are the people that are going to complain about it just so they have a complete game. It's like, well, I paid $60 for Doom. Mm-hmm. I want a full and complete multiplayer. And to those kind of people, I say, well, I mean, go play Overwatch.
Yeah.
That will be your answer for a lot of these things, I think. But now here's actually a good point I want to ask everyone about. What did you think about them essentially releasing a limited time demo of Doom? Now, for those of you listening who don't know, they basically had, like, at the end of their Doom speech, they released the first level of Doom for free that you could, download, play, all that, but it was only available for 1 week. And of course, that night I downloaded it, tried it, and hoped that my computer didn't blow up from it. But, I mean, I enjoyed it, but the weird thing is that, again, as an older gamer, I remember when demos were, out there forever and ever and ever. Mm-hmm. And this definitely seemed like a very weird thing. It threw out, I think, some mixed signals about them trying to get more people to play the game. So, for you guys, what did you think of like that announcement of this limited time demo for Doom?
I think it's a double-edged sword, almost. Like, on one hand, I think that's smart marketing, because it creates a buzz. It gets people excited. It gets people wanting to see what this game is all about. And also, I'm guessing they could figure out what kind of projections they can make for the numbers that about the money that this game could make by how many people download the demo. Mm-hmm. And it also gets people being like, oh, I got this flavor, I got this taste of it, now I want more. I'm going to go out and get the actual game. But what it also does is just says, okay, I played the demo. I'm either going to like it or I don't. And if like, first mission of the game isn't as exciting, it's just going to be like, okay, well, I guess I'm done. I don't need to play the rest now. Mm-hmm. So, me, it's a double-edged sword. I like it, then I don't like it at the same time. I think it's smart, but I feel like you have to be very careful with what you put out, because you have to make it very enticing to your audience. Because Doom is a very... I feel like Doom players, old school Doom players, like, for me personally, I'm just like, if I wanted to play, before this game came out, I was just like, you know what? There is a good version of Doom that's been out. It's called Gears of War, so I'll just play that.
Yeah. What about you, James or Will?
Well, I kind of agree with him, but then again, you have players like me who pay attention to detail a lot. Like, how some demos pretty much spoil the game? Mm-hmm. I know some games can make the mistake of doing that in a short demo, and then we actually get the game. We kind of regret being like, this was in the demo, and pretty much this was the hype. And you feel like you just wasted your money.
Mm-hmm. And
on the other hand, it could be like, it's freaking amazing, and I want to play more of this. Like, that's what the Dark Souls did. It started off being like amazing, and it gave you like only like a hint of what the game truly is. And it had people going nuts trying to find codes, to try to play the game. I'm guessing Doom tried to do the same thing.
And before I talk more about demos, what did you think, James?
I'm probably going to try to help you lead into the talk about demos, because I think the word demo has really evolved since like the PlayStation magazine days. You know what I mean? Like, remember the old PlayStation magazine days where you got like a demo game? You got a disc that had like 3 different demos on it. You know what I mean? And I think we've like, back in those days, you couldn't beta test. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't really give the populace a beta test of what you were going to make. And I think nowadays, like, the people, and really honest people, anybody that's not in the industry, really thinks that a demo and beta testing is the same thing. They're giving you a snippet of the game, and then that snippet is cut short. And especially with what the Doom did, they very much like you would have a beta test, where it's like, oh, you only have this demo for a certain amount of time. Back in the day, man, I think I might still even have one of my old PlayStation CDs for like Taxi Driver, for like Crazy Cab or something like that, And like, I could still pop that in and play that demo of the game. And I think they're really defining what the word demo really means. Kind of trying to bring it back, but keep it in this new spirit of, oh, well, everybody's beta testing our games live anyway. So.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good lead into what I was going to talk about, James, regarding how demos have really changed, especially over the last 10 years with the rise of digital distribution and just the amount of information that's coming out. When we talk to a lot of older developers and older gamers, we remember, the 90s where, there wasn't instant access to information on games. You had Nintendo Power. I remember back in the day, that was it. You get one magazine a month That's all the information you're going to get regarding video games until the next month.
Yep.
Today, not only has information become more transparent, but there's a lot more sources. And this is one thing that PC gamers have really gotten used to over the last 5-6 years with early access and Greenlight, and of course Kickstarter as well. I mean, right now, I can look on my Steam list. I have several early access games I've been following since, like the earliest alpha, when it was like a barely there game. And I've been able to chart the evolution. And the other part of this is that demos, a lot of developers in the past have talked about how much of a pain in the ass it is to put together an E3 demo or a separate demo for your game, because that is more time and money being put off of the actual development. And as you guys were talking about, demos can be a double-edged sword. If you make a horrible demo, if that's the face of your game, how is that going to sell your game? So the only way to make a good demo is you got to put a lot more time and effort into it. And as we just said, that's more money and time going into something that may or may not work. And I guess the really interesting thing is, especially today, it's the YouTuber generation that's really showing off a lot of these games. We see, even myself, who I guess I can consider myself a YouTuber now with over 500 subscribers, but we can get access to press copies, weeks before, and we can put up these little videos. We can show off games that you wouldn't be able to see otherwise. The big names like Northern Lion, Markiplier, PewDiePie, etc., when they put out even like a 5-10 minute video of the latest game, hundreds of thousands of people are going to see that, and that's essentially free publicity for the developer and the publisher.
Yeah.
Now, before we move off Bethesda, were there any bits of news or anything out of the Bethesda conference that made you guys interested or excited about that we didn't mention yet?
I know they are. I think they just released new stuff for Fallout 3, Fallout 4. They just released a new patch, right? There's a new patch or a new DLC for Fallout 4?
I think it's new DLC coming.
Yeah, I know they just released that. I haven't. I don't have Fallout 4 anymore, but I do know that they are still taking care of the Fallout games too.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything from you guys, Will, Ezekiel?
Oh, I've been too busy and paying attention to Bethesda, but I do know that there was another DLC that came out after the arena.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Forgot the name of it though, but I'm pretty sure I think there's another one.
And Ezekiel?
Nah, I got nothing.
All right. In that case, let's move on to, I guess, the next conference. I think that was the Ubisoft one. And Ubisoft is always the crazy one out of the E3. Did you guys watch the Ubisoft conference at all?
I saw, basically I only saw stuff about Watch Dogs. I used to be a big fan of Ubisoft. I played all the Assassin's Creeds. And now it's they wait until we complain about how messed up the game is just to fix it. I'm pretty sure that they pretty much heard all of our screams about the first Watch Dogs. And then when I saw Watch Dogs 2, I was like, they improved. Finally. They made it it has that Far Cry feel where you can do parkour, and it kind of feels like, are you guys familiar with Splinter Cell Blacklist?
I've heard of it, but I haven't played it.
Yeah, same here.
It kind of reminds you of that. I recommend playing Blacklist. Anybody who's listening, dope game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it kind of reminds you of an open world Splinter Cell Blacklist, how it moves and feels in the game, and they kind of added some Assassin's Creed vibe to it. So I'm pretty hype about Watch Dogs too.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the conference itself was always an insane thing. I missed the first minute of it, but I turned on just in time to see giraffes and dancers.
A lot of weird stuff going on there. There was a lot of weird stuff at that conference.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a children's hour or something like that. I was are they making a new a Katamari Damacy or something, and Ubisoft over, or
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what was happening.
Yep, and of course, Aisha Tyler hosted it again, and she's always great as one of the presenters there at E3.
Yeah.
Ubisoft definitely had a lot of just a really weird gambit of titles. There's of course Watch Dogs 2, the new Rainbow. I forget the name, like the full name of the Rainbow Six, and of course they revealed more information about the new South Park game coming out.
Yeah. What?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have to admit,
Oh,
I did
yeah.
laugh while watching the trailer for the South Park game, the second one.
Amazing.
Did you guys play the first one?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
I haven't played it. I wish I did though.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Love
played
it.
the first one at a friend's house. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It wasn't like super deep, but again, as like a South Park IP, it was just amazing.
It was phenomenal, and like, well, it was exactly what you want out of a South Park
Yeah.
game. Like, it literally, I think it blew. I actually put it a lot higher than some other RPGs that had come out at around the same time. Were like, because it kept true to what it was. You know what I mean? Now, was it groundbreaking? No, it used the same old elements that every other RPG used it, but it wrapped it up and kept true to the South Park lore and the South Park world, which is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, you put that on a TV screen, and you're hard-pressed to say whether you're watching a video game or you're watching an episode of South Park. That's how good it looked.
Yeah.
And the sequel looks like it's going to be another crazy game. They also announced if you buy the sequel, I think you get the first game for free, too.
Yep.
Oh wow. I want to buy the sequel.
Now,
So I can be up there with you guys.
I do have a question about that though. Did they, every time I saw the commercial for that, it showed the first game on PC. Now, are you getting the PC copy? Is everybody getting a PC copy, or are they getting the copy for their for their console?
I would like to say that you're getting the same platform that you're getting the sequel on, but I don't know 100%.
I almost kind of feel like that would be them take. I don't know. I don't see GameStop doing that though. I don't see GameStop giving you a game for free that they already have in their stores that's priced. You know what I mean? Even if it's priced at like $10 now, I don't see GameStop doing that. I don't know. I just that. I mean, they might. I don't know. GameStop.
They could do something similar to when Bayonetta 2 was released on the Wii U, and it was prepackaged with a version of the first game. They could just do a double CD or double disc release for it too.
From the actual publisher, the developer itself.
Yeah, and I assume with the PC version, it will simply just be an additional download code. Because I think that's what they're doing a lot with PC retail releases these days.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm surprised I'm interested in playing it, because I kind of fell out of love of South Park. I have like a few years that just got a little tiresome, but I've watched like on and off. But even like as in someone who hasn't watched it lately, it was still a lot of fun playing the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a good game. Like, even if you took out the South Park element, it's a good game. Like, period. Like, well done.
Yeah. Now, another thing out of Ubisoft, again, I think they're just trolling us at this point when they do, like, the quote-unquote live plays of their games with, like, they have, like, people talking. Like, it just sounds completely fake. They did it last year with Rainbow Six Siege. Did you guys see that part or no?
I didn't see that.
Okay.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, so they had this part where they have, like, people, like, talking like they're supposedly playing the game at the same time. Like, oh, man, that is crazy. I can't believe it. I need help over here. Like, it sounds like nothing that would ever actually happen in a real online game.
It's like really, really bad acting.
Yeah.
It's people acting like they're gamers.
Mm-hmm. Like, I remember last year when they did, like, the Rainbow Six and, like, someone messed up and he goes, oh, no, I messed up. And everyone goes, that's okay. You did your best. I'm like, no one would ever say that ever in an online game.
Oh, no. You will get no mercy. It's over.
I think it is Ubisoft just trolling.
Yeah. Now, was the Ubisoft conference the one when they announced the new snowboarding game or the skiing game? I can't remember.
That I didn't see, honestly.
Let me see. I'm going to look that up quickly. Let's see. Oh, they announced. Okay, Watch Dogs 2. I know they. Oh yeah, they announced actually a sequel to a game. Oh, they announced a sequel to a game that I'm excited about. Grow Home 2. This was an indie game.
Okay.
It was actually an indie game published by Ubisoft.
Huh.
What?
And
I did not know that.
it was surprisingly good. It's available on Steam. I don't know if it ever made it to the consoles or not.
It did make it to the console. Actually, it was. Let me think. I think it was November's free game lineup on PlayStation Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Part of their free game lineup on PlayStation Plus. So I know it made it to at least the PlayStation console. As far as Xbox goes, that I don't know.
Yeah.
But I assume so because it's a Ubisoft title as opposed to just a PlayStation one.
And I really liked it. It wasn't like the deepest game, but you could tell that they put a lot of thought into it. It was only meant to be like an hour or two, and then if you wanted to do more with it, I think I made like a video of it like last year. It was just a lot of fun to play.
Uh-huh.
And I'm glad to see they're actually making a sequel to it. Oh, and I did look it up, and I was right. So they did announce a new extreme sports game called Steep out of Ubisoft. And that is looking quite interesting. They're trying to go for, like the big open world. This time it's going to be with, I think, more extreme sports. A lot of people are comparing it to the Skate series. Have you guys played Skate before?
Oh,
Yeah.
I have. It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Not as good as Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Yeah, I also played, I think I have Tony Hawk 2 somewhere around here. And Skate, for those of you listening who don't know what we're talking about, Skate was Ubisoft's attempt at making like a very much a realistic skateboarding game. Like the trick system was a lot more complicated than what you would see in Tony Hawk. It was one of those games that if you got really good at it, you could feel really badass at it. And I know they made a sequel, and now if people are comparing Steep to Skate, I know it's got a lot of people very interested in it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else out of Ubisoft. I'm trying to remember.
Oh,
I know.
I think I know another one. I haven't seen the conference, but I heard some time ago about a game called For Honor, and it's like the dopest thing I've seen in a while.
Yeah, that's
like you know how y'all heard of it? For Honor?
Oh, I've been watching that.
Picture like Star Wars Battlefront, but with like warriors. Like you got one side is freaking Vikings, another side is like samurai. It's like, you know how it is. Like some NPC players in a big army, and it's you and like I think 8 to 16 players going at it with each other. It's like straight swords and shields. It looks ridiculous.
Yeah, that looked very interesting.
Battlefront, like the original Star Wars Battlefront.
It was like that. That's how For Honor was, and I was like, Ubisoft up and done it. I'm actually hype.
Yeah.
Like I saw the gameplay, and I was like, is this real? Because I used to have, you know how you sit around your friends and fantasize what kind of games that y'all think they should make? And me and my friends was like talking about this for the longest. And then I was watching like a bunch of these upcoming games, and I saw For Honor, and I was like, I skipped the video a few times because I didn't really think of much of it. I watched this, and I was like, what? I watched the video like 4 times already. It's like literally like I was like, wow. I'm so hyped I can't even say the words I'm thinking right now. It's pretty dope. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, the combat system looks very interesting. It looks like it's some kind of like positional, like you hold left and that does like a left style attack and counters. I know some people were like making fun of it, saying it was more QTE based, but I could see it like having some depth if you have like different counters and stuff like that. But until we see like more hands-on footage, we're just going to go by the trailer. And the trailer did look really interesting. Like, it's insane to see like this as an original property too. So I'm curious to see how they're really going to flesh this out. Yeah, so For Honor is definitely looking like it's going to be an interesting new property out of Ubisoft. I was trying to think if there's any other like big news that we can talk about. I know they announced a new Just Dance game. Were there any other games that you guys were interested in out of Ubisoft?
This just For Honor and Watch Dogs 2 for me.
Okay.
But I know there's another Assassin's Creed coming out sometime next year, I believe. It's going to take place in Egypt, if I'm correct.
Out time.
Yeah, it's going to be like, they're trying to set it up just like Witcher. And the main guy, well, the protagonist, he's not going to say a lot of words. I mean, I'm thinking Egypt is like an interesting choice, but all of us is like screaming, feudal Japan, freaking ninjas, samurais.
Yeah, I know you're having a game about assassins, and yet
Yeah,
you've
I'm
yet to
saying
see
that's
Japan.
like the perfect thing to go for. And you want to go like, nah, fam, let's go to Egypt. I'm like, really?
I guess feudal Japan, it's too open for that game. Like in terms of where locations are and buildings.
Hold up, they can't use that excuse because they made Tenchu games. If Tenchu can do it, Assassin's Creed can do it.
Yeah.
We can't give them that one. We can't give them that one.
How about you, James? Are there any games from Ubisoft that you're excited about?
Not really that I can think of. Like I said, For Honor looks like it's going to be a great IP, and I'm actually more excited about that than I am about Watch Dogs. I mean, for Watch Dogs, I almost feel like it's more of a redemption game because Watch Dogs 1 was met with a lot of criticism.
Oh Lord, yes.
From both fans and developers. So I think Watch Dogs 2 is more of a redemption game. But yeah, For Honor is definitely something I'm definitely looking forward to. I think it's something fresh. It's fresh. It's new, and I think it's really gonna help. I don't know, wash the taste out of the Division out of our mouth.
Oh yeah, they did announce new content for the Division coming.
They're gonna keep announcing new content until they try to get their money's worth from the flop that thing was. Anyway, sorry.
And what about you, Ezekiel? Are there any other Ubisoft games you're excited about?
Not really, besides For Honor, because that just looks awesome, and it just reminds me of Deadliest Warrior, and I want a better version of that game.
Yes.
True. This is true.
All right. And I guess
I'm negative towards these games today. I don't know why. Like my old games better.
Yeah, I think For Honor and surprising to say South Park are probably the two that I'm most excited about out of Ubisoft's conference.
Yeah.
That's right, I forgot about South Park.
Who'd have thought that the words South Park, good, and video game, all three would be in the same sentence?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who loved that game last year.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's move on. And I think, did Microsoft come next? I think they were, right? I'm trying to remember the order of all the big conferences. So, Microsoft was the one that I know a lot of people, including myself, I felt like very bored out of their presentation. What about you guys?
I mean, it was okay. I feel like people are now trying to jump on Microsoft's bandwagon now because the whole Scorpio and backwards compatibility, which I'm like, I don't really care too much about Microsoft. I didn't really watch much of it because every year I watch E3, it's more Sony. But what I can give Microsoft is that their multiplayer servers are better. That's about it. When it comes to like exclusives and straight up focusing around a gamer, Sony just dominates that. Microsoft is more of, all right, let's focus on what your TV can do. Let's focus on you playing with your friends. It's like, I don't know. It's like they're both good and bad, but when it comes to me choosing between the two, Sony is like, no question. I'm going for them.
What about you guys?
Yeah, Zeke, being the only person here that owns an Xbox.
The presentation itself, yeah, I would say it was boring. But I guess like the announcement of like, you know, the Xbox S, that's gonna be cool.
It's not the Xbox 2.
I apologize. My Xbox is actually listening to me, so I needed to not do anything stupid right now.
Do not provoke it.
He's talking about Microsoft. Wait,
But I just think like some of the announcements are really interesting and cool, and I just feel like Microsoft is going more the way of like how iPhone's been going. It's gonna be like every few years we're gonna give you something new and different, and it's gonna get smaller and smaller and smaller till it's in your back pocket. It's like, okay, Just don't forget about the actual gamers who like sitting in front of their TV and getting fat and eating Hot Pocket.
Yes.
Yeah.
We love our Hot Pockets.
Has anybody heard anything on the crossplay that they supposedly revealed? That they're working on the ability to be able to cross Sony and to be able to play with people on cross servers.
I'm waiting to see it actually come to fruition.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just all talk. I'm waiting for the action.
Yeah. I still
just wanna see how
remember
it works.
Microsoft trying to get cross PC and Xbox play with the whole Games for Windows Live debacle that crashed over the last few years.
Yeah. And I kind of feel like that Xbox to PC fusion will come before the Xbox to Sony fusion. Way before.
Yeah, I feel that way too.
Mm-hmm. Now, the other big news out of Microsoft was, of course, the Xbox Scorpio, which I kind of missed most of the announcement, honestly to say, but is this considered like the next Xbox, or is this just an upgrade from Xbox One to this one?
I think
it's an upgrade.
Upgrade.
Yeah, it's like the PS4K. It's an upgrade.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Slim.
what there's
diet.
the weird thing, I was reading someone saying that they said that it's really only meant for people with like 4K TV. Like this is supposed to be like the super deluxe high end thing.
Oh yeah, but I mean for $399, I'm like, I could use some of that money to get a TV too. Make it work.
I'm kind of interested to see how this is going to like work in the market.
My HDMI cords.
Because whenever we see like developers try to have multiple platforms in a single generation, it doesn't seem to do all that well. Now I know they're saying that any game for Scorpio will be, I think, playable on Xbox One, so they're trying not to split it, which is a smart move. But it seems like they're not trying to commit to a new console cycle, which I guess on one hand is smart, but it is going to be, I think, a little bit confusing in the marketplace. I still remember people being confused over, the Wii and the Wii U, not understanding what that was.
Exactly.
Now,
I think it's a bit too soon to bring out more things because basically everybody just got comfortable with the PS4 and got one like last year.
Yeah.
And now they're bringing out, we got another one that's even better. And everybody's like, we just bought this. We got a whole library set up. And now you got like another system that probably won't be able to play our version of games. We have to get like a 4K version.
Yeah.
That's what kind of irked me. I'm like, really? You guys are already starting this? I mean, I'd rather PS4 have been pushed back and we wait a little bit longer and they started off with the PS4K and I would have been like, okay, it was worth the wait. Now it's like, I don't know. It's like we already got what we want, and PlayStation like, I forgot about this. Let's just give it to them. Now, if they have it where we can actually return our PS4s and pay like a little bit for the PS4K, then all right, that'd be kind of cool. And the fact that we can still play our PS4 games on them, then all right, I guess that's a little bit hype there.
Yeah.
But if we have to buy like a 4K version of the games that we already have, that would suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And has there been any news regarding them doing more with like backwards compatibility? I know there's huge talk out of, I think, accompanied by Dave Perry regarding being able to like stream classic games to your console as a workaround from emulation. Has there been any new announcements? I heard about like a year or so ago, and then it seems to have just completely dropped off the face of the earth.
I haven't heard anything. I mean, most of the stuff I've been hearing has just been about, remastering games or taking older games and bringing them back for the newer consoles, like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which will now be available for Xbox One and PS4, which I'm excited for. I just hope the graphics.
Yeah.
Because I love that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I almost forgot in our last section about Ubisoft. There was one other interesting thing I wanted to bring up, and that was the Star Trek co-op game they sort of announced for like virtual reality and all that.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was very weird and interesting at the same time. There's been this PC game floating around. The name escapes me. I think it's like a bridge simulator or Starship Bridge Simulator that you can play with like 4 or 5 friends. It sounds very similar to that, but with like the whole Star Trek theme. It's, I guess, if they're looking for a game to bring people into VR and all that, Star Trek is definitely a good one to start with.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I brought that up is that I cannot think of one Microsoft game that I'm excited about. What about you guys? Is there
PlayStation got the exclusives? Microsoft is just there for the multiplayer.
Yeah,
I'm not
I think
hating on Microsoft.
didn't Titanfall even is now on Sony now?
Yeah.
And that was like the Microsoft exclusive.
Let's go back further. Remember Mass Effect? Now Mass Effect is on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I guess, Ezekiel, since you're the only guy with the Xbox currently like looking at you right now menacingly, were there any Microsoft exclusive games you are excited about?
Not really.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna just say no and leave it at that.
All right.
You have let down a lot of Xbox gamers.
I'm sure I have, and I apologize, but guys, you gotta be honest. You can't just be a fanboy forever.
Don't turn your back on the Xbox One, whatever you do. Be very careful.
It knows where you sleep, dude.
I mean, hey, if we're on video, man, this thing follows me around. It's a little creepy.
Let's move on then to the next conference. I think we may have mixed something up, but we'll talk about EA next. EA, of course, went big with multiplayer, sports, and shooters. 3 things I'm not completely interested in these days, but they, of course, made a lot of noise. Battlefield 1 looks very interesting. For those of you who missed the announcement, of course, this is the World War I version of Battlefield. So think Battlefield, but back during the Great War, trenches, zeppelins.
This is amazing.
I'm sorry?
I said this is amazing. I'm excited.
It
Same
is.
here.
I'm very excited.
Mm-hmm.
Hitting people
Takes
in the
me back
faces
to the-
with shovels? What?
Yeah.
Takes
And
me back
horse.
to the original Call of Duty, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ain't no guns, fam. All shovels.
Yup. All shovel.
I feel like Call of Duty and I'm forgetting the damn name.
Battlefield.
Battlefield are going backwards, are going in reverse.
Yeah.
Battlefield started off a little bit more futuristic than when Call of Duty started off, and now it's just going backwards. It's just like, hey, we're gonna do World War II now. Haha.
Mm-hmm. And we'll talk more about Call of Duty in the next few minutes, I'm sure. Battlefield 1, I mean, it does look really good. I've talked about this previously on earlier casts, but I've not really played any of the Battlefield games. Surprisingly, they just never clicked
We gotta
for
convert
me.
you, man.
Yeah.
Maybe this one will be it. The problem, of course, is that I'm still tied to my anti-EA origin from a few years ago, so I have to be careful not to let anyone know I sign on to Origin. I still haven't played Plants vs. Zombies, too, Garden Warfare. I need to do that at some
Best
point.
game ever.
I need to play. I haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
Best game ever.
Also, let's see, what else out of EA? There was, of course, here's the one that was interesting. The new FIFA game is going to have an actual story mode to it. And it's kind of weird to think of a sports game having an actual story, campaign, stuff like that.
Could have one of the NBA 2K games as well.
Yeah.
But we
And
also
a lot
how
of
much
wrestling
that
games.
worked out.
A lot of wrestling.
But hey, wrestling is about story.
Yeah.
Don't you bag on a wrestling game. I will
No,
fight
no,
you.
I'm not bagging on it. I'm actually including it. I'm saying that I used to love the wrestling, man. SmackDown versus Raw, that was my jam.
SmackDown vs. Raw was the days.
Yeah.
I remember those days.
Mm-hmm.
I lost
They're
a lot
still
of
good
friendships.
days.
And do you guys think that a story mode in FIFA will bring new people in? Who do you think that's really aimed for?
I don't think anybody's going to play the story mode, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They're going to go straight to online and do what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool that it's there, but no, it's like Battlefield. It's cool that they gave us a story, but they know that we're not going to play the story mode. We're just going to hop back in and blow stuff up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's initiative is good, I guess.
It switches things up. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it literally gives them the ability to say, "This is new. Come check it out."
Here it
It
is.
brings their game out of obscurity. Like, I know this is gonna sound sacrilegious to real big FIFA fans. I used to be, but I'm just like, I don't. The game is way too complicated now for me that I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they're just like, we've lost a big audience because they're not making as much money as all the other sports games that come out. Those are the big money makers, specifically in America.
America, yeah.
They're not getting that big audience, so they're just like, let's give them a story.
Yeah.
Maybe that will bring them back. But I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, great, you might get a few people back, but in the long run, I don't think it's going to service the game or the gamers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, like as you guys are saying, a story mode in a sports game, I don't see their audience going for it. Now, I think it sounds similar to what Blizzard did with StarCraft, with just having completely different gameplay for the campaign versus the multiplayer. But I don't know if EA Sports is going to go that far and make the story mode, completely different from what you would do playing FIFA multiplayer.
I think they're trying to use, here's my idea of what I think they're trying to do. I'm thinking they're using the story mode as somewhat of a tutorial to get you prepped to go online. If they're going that route, then I guess that would be a smart way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, also, how I see it... sorry, continue.
I think we were all done.
Well, I mean, I think a story mode... Like, as much as I don't think it will work, I still think it's very interesting because it adds something. Because as a sports gamer, because you guys really aren't, but I am, like, specifically for, like, Madden. I love playing Madden. I'm the stupid idiot who buys it every year, even though it's pretty much the same game, just with a few different players. I understand that, and I accept that.
You've accepted it, huh?
But I feel like because I love sports games, but I don't play basketball sports games. But when that basketball sport game that came out that had the story mode, where it actually had a story where you were a character and you went through a career as a basketball player, that made me buy that game because I was like, okay, now this is bringing me into the world more than just playing the game itself. I think it adds a lot to it because it gives it specific nuances that sports games are lacking because it's just like, all right, here we go. Here's the thing. We do this thing. Oh, we scored points. We won.
Yep,
Game over now.
You just finished. Yeah.
And I think that is a really good point, Ezekiel. I mean, as you are correct for me, I'm not a sports game person. I'm not big on competitive games that much. I need, we talked about this, I think, when I spoke with Brian Rubin a few weeks ago. I'm an achievement player. I need to have something to go for. I need to complete something. I need a carrot on the stick to keep me engaged. And traditionally, sports games is about the competition. It's about playing this opponent and then going to the next one and the next, etc. And it's about the play of the game. So with a story mode, if they can make it like very engaging, give you these rewards, give you something to shoot for, that could again be a great way to get someone who may not play FIFA traditionally, or maybe plays it but finds themselves overwhelmed by multiplayer and go, hey, there's still something for me to enjoy here, and go at it from that direction.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because earlier this year, I was talking to one of my students because, as you know, I'm an after-school teacher. So one of my students, he really loves gaming. And he's going to be one of those kids that I think will actually create video games one day in the future. He has great ideas. And so we were talking about during football season about football games. And I always had this idea of taking the style of like a WWE story mode game where they have like these weird, like back in the early 90s, mid 90s type, where like they had these really weird side quests that you had to do in a wrestling game that made no absolute sense, but if it made sense to the character you were playing as, I think it would work. So me and him were just shooting ideas, and he came up with this really great idea that I thought of, but I didn't tell him I didn't tell it to him, and I was like, oh my god, that was my idea from like 5 years ago. This is amazing. So he had this idea, like in a football game, if you're playing as one of the characters, or you know what, not even a character that exists as an actual player, but you create your own character, and he goes through his life as a football player. But with all the stuff that happens in the media with like a lot of athletes, you start to go through that. Like if you're an athlete and it's after a party, you know, you just finished a game, you got a little drunk. Now you have to find a way to get home, but you're intoxicated, but you got to avoid police. You know, a stupid little side mission of you have to get home now and avoid the cops.
Yeah.
If the cops catch you, you lose and you got to start over. I think little things like that are fun, that's also poking a little fun at the NFL or the NBA or whatever, could be a little enjoyable and give you that little like, haha, that's funny because it's actually relatable to the things that I see in the news.
No, that would be
Sports
dope.
Center.
You can add like consequences if you don't make it. Like, say your character, like, look, I'm getting mixed up. Like, you can actually add like consequences to that. Like, you make it home and you're out of the press, but if you get caught, you're like in the newspaper, something like that.
Exactly. And you get suspended from a couple of games and your character doesn't play and you don't make money. Like, I think stuff like that, because they have like GM mode and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, just apply that to the player and just make it a little bit more expansive, and I think you got something.
You meet a girl at a bar. Oh no, she's not 18. Damn it. Lost.
Arrested.
Is your charisma high enough to win a lawsuit?
Oh.
Yo, and then you have to think of like excuses in court.
I have a game this Sunday.
Oh.
She didn't tell me she wasn't.
NFL, the experience.
Let's pitch that
Do you
right
take
now.
steroids or not?
Someone call EA. I think we got their next
Everybody
game.
has like
got it,
huge
we got it.
arms on the field.
Patent this right now, guys. We're making money. Let's do it.
Oh,
Bunch
moving.
of steroid football players in court.
They're like, man, what are you playing? The Law and Order game? Nah, this is NFL. The experience.
This is the new Madden game.
This is new Madden.
Called Madden,
27.
real life.
Oh man, bad.
Well, I
But to
think
get
there's
back
one-
like on a serious track, I just feel like, hey, there are things that you can do to just bring someone who isn't like a football player or doesn't really like football, to just get them into that world and, you know, be able to get through it a lot easier, enjoy the games a lot more. You know, I think if you have, like, even if you have like a stamina meter, which like during practice, if you work too hard, you're going to be a little bit slower and not as alert during the actual game itself, so your player's not at 100%. And how do you balance stuff like that? I feel like you add those little things, it makes the game a little bit harder and a lot less tedious.
Yeah.
They should add like a player rivalry mode as well. Like, say you and another team were like talking at a conference and y'all like build like beef, and then if that person like attacks, like say one player and another player didn't really get along, and that player comes up to you and tackles you on the field, there's like a quick time event where you guys are like fighting or something like that. That'd be pretty dope.
That's what's always pissed me off about football games. Is like, look, in a hockey game, you can fight. In football, they fight too. Let's get that. I need it. I need it now.
I mean, they tackle each other. I mean, come on.
That's in game. I need, like, we taking off the helmets, we throwing down the gloves,
like
we fighting.
Blitz.
Exactly, except less cartoon.
Smack you with a helmet.
Now we're getting
That's
into
what they did in Blitz. They took their helmet off and
Blitz.
just whacked the guy.
Now we're getting into Blitz games now. NFL.
Oh, all right, moving away from sports, there was the other big thing. We had like 10 seconds of the new Mass Effect game.
Mass Effect. I was just about to say that. EA just dropped new Mass Effect. So.
And it sounds like they're basically ditching the previous game and just starting from fresh. I think is a very smart move at this point.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because there would be literally no way they would be able to continue things and, you know, keep everyone's choices. I think BioWare made a very smart decision to design Mass Effect as a 3-game trilogy.
Yeah.
So people can go into this new one basically from square one.
Yeah. Yep. Keep the IP, but drop the storyline lineage. Start fresh and new. Give them something new to play.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That was a smart move.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the other big thing there was just like the gambit of Star Wars related games. They're doing more with Star Wars. I think it was like Battlefront.
They're already talking about Battlefront
like
2.
Yeah.
They're doing like a VR thing where you can like fly in the starships now, which is kind of a dope idea if people still played Battlefront.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they had that already. It was called Battlefront 1 and 2.
Yeah.
The good one.
True. Late.
But yeah, other than like Battlefield 1, there really wasn't anything that like screamed to me like exciting out of EA this year. What about you guys?
I'm hype about Battlefield 1, but you know how EA can be. They like overhype anything, and then when you get it, you don't really get the full game. You just get like not even half of it.
Yeah, remember Battlefield Hardline? They were like hyping the hell out of that. The Cops and Robbers game, and it just like came and then went like within like a month or so.
I was like, oh my gosh.
I
just hopped back on Battlefield 4.
I don't think this is going to be like that. Honestly, let's put it this way. EA hype stuff, but DICE is pretty... When it comes to their Battlefield stuff, like, I mean, again, Hardline was bad, but Battlefield 4 was amazing. Like, Battlefield 4 was a good game. And I feel like Battlefield 1 is going to get the same treatment that Battlefield 4 got. And we're going to see... I feel like Battlefield 1 was what they should have done before Hardline.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like Hardline was kind of we got this leftover crap. We got this leftover crap. Yeah, let's just make this and add a new name to it because we want to be relevant. Which they didn't need to be. People are still playing Battlefield 4. There was no point to Hardline. No one stopped playing Battlefield 4 and is now playing. Oh man, I'm on Hardline like hardcore. Man. No, they're not. No, you're playing Battlefield 4 like the rest. Everybody's waiting for Battlefield 1. I mean, and the sad thing is, especially when it comes to Battlefront, the Battlefront series, EA. I knew I was not going to buy the game the second they said that, because they flat out said, well, we're not going to make this a Star Wars skinned Battlefield 4. And when I heard that, I was like, well, then you're a moron, because that's what I want. That's what I was going to give you money for. I want Battlefield 4 with fucking Star Wars skins, where I can blow up the fucking cantina or some shit. Like, you know, and the very fact that they didn't do that, and they really went, what they really said was, we're going to give you a Call of Duty with
Star Wars
skin. Yeah. And that's not what I want. That's not what I want.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on from EA and get to one I think we're all excited about, and that was Sony's conference.
This is a long conversation we're about to have here.
Yeah, this could be where things get really crazy. Sony, I think, definitely hit out of the park this year. Game announcement after game announcement, and even a few like big surprises this year too. I mean, it's hard to know like where to begin. There's of course the reveal of The Last Guardian.
God of War.
I have three words. God of War. Because that. Oh man. Oh man.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus. I'm just excited. Oh Lord, take me now.
I fainted like twice.
And new God of War game. The twist is you're going to be with his son this time. And it looks like they're trying to move away. I know the series has gotten a little bit repetitive. I think the last one I played was, God of War 3. I know there's been...
I feel bad for you.
Did it actually get better with, like, the fourth one?
But Ascension?
I haven't played the fourth one.
I actually enjoyed Ascension, but the thing was, the camera was just weird.
Yeah.
That was, like, the one thing that bugged me about God of War Ascension. I doubted the multiplayer, but the multiplayer is so addictive. It reminds you of Smash Brothers mixed with Mortal Kombat. It's amazing. Yes, I kid you not. If you get on Ascension right now and play it, it feels like Smash Brothers mixed with Mortal Kombat. You can actually finish people off like a fatality. It's crazy.
Interesting. The other one Horizon has been lighting up a lot of people.
Oh yeah, I'm hyped about that.
So future, it's now the past fighting robot dinosaurs. And yet,
Yeah, it's like
They sold it right there.
Yeah.
Robot.
Yeah,
We're in. We're in.
Mhm. But yeah, so many games that I think a lot of people, I know I am very excited about. Trying to go in order, and that's not easy.
The Last Guardian. I've been waiting for that game for quite some time, and it's one of those. Like, I almost teared up when they first showed the trailer, like, last year.
Mm-hmm.
Was it last year or was it 2 years ago? I don't remember. It was, like, last year, I think. And they showed that trailer, and I was like, why are you doing this to me? Mm-hmm. Don't do this to me, because
Quit playing.
everything, all my Shadow of Colossus days came back in a rush, and I started tearing up. I started tearing up like a mother at a funeral. I swear to God, like I literally was like, and it's such a it is. Anytime you want to say that video games are art, to the person, to the non-believer, you just show them Shadow of Colossus. Yeah, that's all you have to do, and they're like, whoa. Mm-hmm. And from then on, you know what I mean? It set an industry standard, and I think this is going to do the same.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you just look at the list of what is coming, because, like, one of the things I'm really curious about is Hideo
Kojima.
Yeah.
Death Stranding, I believe.
Yeah, Death Stranding. That, I'm excited for that. Crash Bandicoot's coming back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
The new Resident Evil.
Yes.
That's going to be exciting.
About
Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man. By Insomniac's doing that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see that. I do want to touch on Resident Evil 7. I think that one I'm really excited to look at. And I think the best part is that it came out of the blue. I don't think anyone was expecting that to be Resident Evil 7. Everyone thought they were just doing... Yeah, everyone thought it was going to be like a PT clone. And I'm curious to see what they're really going to do with that. And that's the first time I've said that about a Resident Evil game in a long time. And it's kind of funny, though, because Resident Evil has really been one of those series that has done its best to sort of redefine itself multiple times throughout its generation. I remember the original Resident Evil. I get to date myself again. Back in the old days on the PlayStation 1, and then just the mind screw it was when they went to Resident Evil 4 and just completely blew everyone out of the water with that one.
I think 4 was its peak.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one, Will. And then with Resident Evil 7, it looks like they're trying to take things back to the horror roots. Like Resident Evil 4 started the whole action horror trend, and with 7... if they can go back to that more deliberate pace, like they can take from that demo and make that into a full game, that could be one amazing horror experience. Especially by the fact that, of course, PT and Silent Hills has been canceled.
And Allison Road, which I was really, really hyped about.
I know. I spoke to the developer. I did an email interview with them earlier this year, and they sounded really... sure of themselves about the game, and unfortunately at this point we don't know exactly why things have stopped.
Yeah, Allison Road looks so promising. Like that short clip had me like terrified. I'm like, I want this, because not a lot of games can like creep me out. The last recent game that actually gave me some chills was Evil Within, which I have yet to beat, because I was like, I don't have the mind for it.
Did you play Alien Isolation?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I gotta play that.
Yeah, you do.
It was good too.
Thank you for reminding me about the Evil Within, Will, because I have that game. I know I bought it at some point. I don't remember when, but I have not loaded it up yet.
Developed by the same people who developed Resident Evil 4. Just throw that out there.
Yeah, I need to get back to that. And with like Allison Road and Resident Evil 7, I was really hoping for someone to try to evolve or take horror back to some like the more complicated sense. I know right now a lot of people are digging, like the Five Nights at Freddy's series and like the more jump scare thing, and those games have just never hooked me at all.
Yeah, I don't like jump scares. They don't work.
Mm-hmm.
I like the whole suspense of like the unknown.
Yeah.
And you walk up in, it's like that feeling of helplessness. That is what gets me.
Yeah.
Not the jump scares. Jump scares are like,
You need to play Alien Isolation.
Yes.
Alien Isolation is.
Yeah.
I feel like viewers are going to be screaming, "Wow, play Alien Isolation!"
Yeah. We need at some point. Well, we need to have you back on for like a recap of horror, because we had a horror theme podcast. Like I think it was like a year or so ago. I've been dying to talk more about horror these days, because that's a good hour and a half discussion right there.
Oh yeah.
Getting back to Resident Evil 7, so of course they released the demo, I think that night. I know people have been digging into that. I watched footage of it because I don't have a PS4, and again, it looks very much like what they were doing with PT, but if they can really like take Resident Evil in this direction, I guess essentially transform it a third time, I'm really interested to see what Capcom does with it. There was another zombie game. There's like, I forget the name of it. I was trying to look it up.
After or Only Gone after.
That's probably part of the reason.
It looks like World War Z. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of it.
But with a biker as the main character.
World War Z, the game.
Actually, I think there actually is a War Z.
It's a
game.
Daisy.
Daisy,
that's
yeah. Daisy. But yeah, After Hour? No. Something. I was watching it. I literally was watching it this morning, and I cannot think of the name.
It's probably not a good sign for us too. It
kind of looks like Last of Us. It looks very similar.
Yeah, it looks like The Last of Us with bikes, and then the zombies. They're actually zombies in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While I'm trying to find it, they of course announced another game from David Cage. Detroit something, I can't remember now.
It's called Days Gone, I think.
Days Gone.
There we
That's
go.
the name.
Gone.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about horror games real fast, I'm just trying to remember which company it was from, but the whole Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah.
Gun Media I think is doing it.
Yeah, So what's going on with that game? I don't really. It came out of nowhere, actually.
Yeah, I actually interviewed the developers, I think, last month or the month before that. They're trying to make a asymmetrical co-op game. So you have one side being the counselors, the other side being Jason himself.
What's it call it? One of my favorite games, Evolve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have any real specifics when I spoke to them about it, though. So I'm really curious to see what that game is really going to be like.
Yeah.
Let's see, anything else? So there's a game, David Cage, a new game from him.
Spider-Man.
Yep, Spider-Man, of course.
Spider-Man's.
Sticking with David Cage for a second, have you guys played any of his games in the past?
Off
He did Indigo Prophecy.
Oh my god, I remember that game.
Like every E3, there's always a big announcement from one of his games. Everyone falls in love with him, and then everyone plays him, and it just falls off very quickly.
Yeah.
I know you guys brought up Crash Bandicoot a few minutes ago. That's kind of interesting. I've played, I think I have the first, or I used to have the first 3 or 4 of them, and I've played them all. I am wondering if that's going to do well, at least for new gamers today.
It all depends on how they do it.
Yeah.
If they do it like they did back in the old days and just, update the graphics and everything, I'd say it could go pretty well to give us that whole nostalgia feel. Because, some games can't really do the whole new thing. And I'm thinking if they just stick to how it was back in the day, then I think it'll be great. But possibly, I'm guessing that they might go, an open world route, which could be good. And at the same time, I don't think that would work with Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
I think they should keep it the same. The whole.
If they give it the original Sonic Adventure type of a deal, where you had the open world, but that's how you got to the maps themselves.
Okay, yeah.
I think that could work.
Yeah. definitely want to touch on Spider-Man again. Really excited about that one. I love Spider-Man 2 back, wow, long time ago, that one.
Yep. Spider-Man 2 is my jam.
I was like 2002?
Yeah, something
around
like
there.
that. I mean,
That and Ultimate Spider-Man was my game.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
Ultimate Spider-Man
Spider-Man
was pretty good. Ultimate Spider-Man was
Yeah.
pretty good too. Yeah.
Yeah,
I liked
Spider-
Web of Shadows. Web of Shadows was cool.
Yeah, I like Web of Shadows too. I liked Shattered Dimensions, even though it
Shattered
wasn't
Dimensions
open
was pretty
world.
nice, too.
But yeah,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
definitely fun for a Spider-Man fan. That one.
But Spider-Man 2 really
Yeah.
told
Yeah.
everybody you can make a open world RPG game that has superheroes in it. And it can
It
be
said
good.
you are Spider-Man.
And you
Yeah.
can be Spider-Man. Like
Yeah, and I said this when I talked about it on when I talked about it on Game Wisdom. I think I said it was my number one favorite open world game. And what I loved about it was it pretty much gave you like a day in the life of Spider-Man kind of feel.
Mhm.
Like didn't have to be tied. It was loosely tied to the movie, but you were free
Yeah.
to just be Spider-Man.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yup.
Which I really love and really respected that game for.
Yeah.
And I feel like, hey, Arkham could take a page out of that book.
Yeah, day.
I feel like Arkham I feel like the Arkham City, we wouldn't have Arkham City if we didn't
Yeah.
have Spider-Man 2.
Oh,
Mhm.
of course
Yeah,
not.
yeah, of course.
But I would replay Arkham City at night quicker than I'd play Spider-Man 2. But if Spider-Man 2, if they remastered that game,
Oh yeah.
oh god, I know they will never do it now
Well,
because it's still based off that movie.
If they're
So-
listening, please.
Yeah.
Please.
yeah.
I know.
Please do it. I hope so.
Uh-huh.
I know you guys aren't PC gamers, but one of the developers behind it, Jamie Freesom, who did like the technology behind the swinging, he's working on his own game right now, Energy Hook, which is supposed to be like a spiritual successor to that kind of swinging mechanic. It's
Oh,
been in
Oh.
development for I think like 2-3 years now. I hope he's getting close to finishing. It's on early access. I think it's on Steam right now.
Mhm.
But he's trying to bring that back. But if they can do like anywhere near Spider-Man 2 for the new Spider-Man game, that would be amazing.
I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be Spider-Man 2 next gen.
Yeah. So if they can do anything more with the Spider-Man, try to get it back to Spider-Man 2, I think it would be an amazing game. Moving on from the major games, there was of course a lot of third-party titles that were announced. Or shown off. Call of Duty, we were talking about this earlier in the cast, but Call of Duty's going in like the opposite direction now, like a space opera with
Yeah.
stuff like that. What do you guys think of that one?
They need to stop.
All right, let me tell you. I have two sides about Call of Duty. Call of Duty was once great, but what screwed up Call of Duty is that it's the fact that they are trying to be like everybody else. That is
Mhm.
what's killing them right now. They went from being Call of Duty to freaking Killzone,
Mm-hmm.
freaking Halo, then Titanfall. I mean, I know y'all noticed that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
what happened to just... I remember the days of Big Red 1 and World at War. Those are the days.
Mm-hmm.
And then freaking Modern Warfare 1 through 3, which they're remastering all three of them.
Oh really? Oh wow. That is
Yep, they are.
awesome.
And I'm pretty sure they just threw Modern Warfare 2 up in there because they know we're going to dislike Call of Duty Infinite Warfare so much. And I was like, let's just give them this. And they kind of forced us to do it so they can have sales.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
that's the funny thing, though. In order to play Modern Warfare 2, you have to keep Infinite Warfare. So you can't just like...
oh god.
they thought
It's
ahead.
the package deal.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much is. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
you thought you was slick trying to bring back the GameStop? Fam.
I think they're just. I like the direction they're going. I just feel like the execution is not what I was expecting. And also, it just seems like they're getting desperate to stay relevant.
Mm-hmm.
All
And-
Call of Duty do is add destruction. That is it. They have so much technology. If they just add destruction to Call of Duty, it would change the game.
Well, yeah, but
What?
you just said you don't want Call of Duty to be playing like it's somebody else. And if they
That
add
is true.
destruction,
Battlefield,
people are going to complain that they're trying to Battlefield it.
You are right. I can't save Call of Duty. I can't. I tried. Y'all see, I tried, right? I tried.
Well, I mean, and here's something, and I think this is definitely. I love to get all you guys back on here for this question that I'm about to bring up. Do you guys think Overwatch will be the death of Call of Duty?
I haven't played Overwatch, so I don't know, but I keep hearing great things about it.
Battlefield 1 put the nail in the coffin, though.
What's that? You think Battlefield 1 to put the nail in the coffin?
It already did. It already did.
Well, but people go to Battlefield, and people go to Battlefield for a different reason than they go to Call of Duty or Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think Call of Duty needs to go back to its roots. Like, do the Vietnam War. Like, do wars that have actually happened. I think they need to go back to that. Sure, some are a little, like, touchy-feely, like with Vietnam and all that. I get that, but the type of warfare that was used for that would be so interesting during gameplay, I think.
Yeah.
And I feel like
it's too late. I think it'd be better if they just stop and just remaster all the good ones and just call it a day. That's all they need to do is remaster all the ones that we played and just.
But they keep making money. They're not going to.
They're stupid.
Well, and here's the thing. I kind of agree with Ezekiel on that, and I agree with it because of what Call of Duty is. And this took me a while to get there because I played Call of Duty and I played Battlefield. And then I played PlanetSide and realized that it's bigger. And anyway, but when you play Call of Duty and then you play Battlefield, you realize enough. They're two different styles of play. Battlefield
that is true.
Team cooperative. You have to be a team. You're on a large scale. Well, you're on a big scale warfare. Well, Call of Duty is that every man can be the super soldier. That's what it is. It's every man super soldier. You're pretty much in it for yourself. Don't give me team deathmatch because it's not a team. It is every man for himself just trying to get as many high kill counts as they can. But that's what it's good at. And like now I'm gonna go into Black Ops. And I know Call of Duty and Black Ops are like Modern Warfare are two different IPs, but you got to put them both together because they are that arena style. They're an arena style first person shooter. And that's another reason why I asked the question. Do you think that Overwatch, because Overwatch is now an arena style first person shooter with characters or heroes. It's a hero shooter. And Black Ops 3 was a hero shooter, and we loved it. We really did. We loved Black Ops 3 as a hero shooter. And then Overwatch came along and said, no, we can do that better. Way better.
I think with Overwatch, it's really going to tell is what Blizzard's going to do to support the game. I was reading while you were talking, James, I was looking up some of the information that they've recently announced. There's going to be an actual competitive mode with Overwatch coming, I think, in July.
Yep.
They're going to try and push more of that side. Obviously, they're going to have more heroes as well. I don't think Call of Duty is in threat from Overwatch yet on one thing, and I think it's the progression model. Call of Duty, from what I've seen, the free weekends I've played, has a very robust progression system to keep you coming back and keeping you playing the game. The prestige system, the upgrades, I mean, that stuff, like, you can say everything you will about Call of Duty, what games are bad, what games aren't, but their progression model is probably one of the best I've seen out of the AAA market. I mean, when it's enough to get me interested to play, when I'm not a competitive first-person shooter, that does say a lot.
Yeah.
But I think it's still too soon to tell. But I think what was kind of interesting, you guys were just saying regarding Battlefield versus Call of Duty. I was reading like a few days ago that like Battlefield 1 has like one of like the most highly upped trailers, and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare has like one of the most voted down trailers of all time.
Because we've seen that already.
Yeah.
And Battlefield was like bringing up something that we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
Like, I respect Call of Duty. Call of Duty is just one of them games where if you're new to gaming and you want to play with your friends, Call of Duty is really simple to jump into.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun. I've played it a few times, but like I said, I'm more of a Battlefield kind of person. Like, Call of Duty just have like that simple arcade vibe, you know?
You know what the thing is that I feel like we've all been touching on when it comes to Call of Duty it has something that I feel like Overwatch, it's going to take a while for that to get, and that is a legacy. Call of Duty has a legacy.
Yeah.
And it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
It has a built-in franchise. It's going to continue. It is a monster.
Yeah.
It's not going to be stopped.
It's going to take like something like horrible to like stop Call of Duty. Like one game just gave like 1 out of 10s to stop that thing. And it's the same thing with Madden. It's become such instilled in gaming culture that, again, every year you're going to have people playing that game. EA Sports has built its name off of the Madden franchise.
Yeah.
And Call of Duty, I think, has really cemented itself, especially in the AAA market.
Mm-hmm.
Now, speaking about like AAA games, it was before I forget this point again, what was interesting is you guys were talking about with Battlefield 1 and the fact that it is doing something so unique and out there compared to other shooters. Mm-hmm. There were reports saying that the higher-ups at EA didn't want them originally to do a game based in World War One. They wanted it to be another World War II game.
Yep. Because they didn't think that a younger audience or today's audience
know about World War One,
would accept that. But that, to tell you the truth, I think that's why, though.
Yeah.
I think that's another big reason as to why it's getting so much hype. Because people are like, oh man, World War One. Like, I think
we know so much about 2, and World 1 was like, what?
Yeah.
Well, not just that. I think they could have did World War II and still would have gotten somewhat of the same effect. But because of how old, how far back, everything is advanced, everything is new, everything is next gen or into the future, and they're like, nah, let's go back to the past, and that catches people.
Yeah.
And what's also good is this is good competition for Call of Duty, and that's going to make them wake up and be like, okay, we need to get back to basics here about what made people fall in love with our franchise. I think the fact that Battlefield 1 exists is going to make them realize what we had when we first came out, we need to get back there. Maybe not go completely time period, but we need to get there.
I think time period would be fine. Because, like, a lot of people, like, even though they do compete with each other, Black Ops and Battlefield are two different experiences. I think Black Ops could get away with learning things or ting or two from Battlefield and being like, wow, maybe if we went back, like, I think people would love it if they went back in the day. You know what I mean? Because you have Call of Duty fanboys and you have enough, just like you have Madden fanboys, and they're big enough that they'll keep the franchise, they'll keep buying it as long as you keep producing it. And I think they would like a refreshing taste.
Yeah.
I think they would like a refreshing taste too. Like, everybody flipped out when Black Ops went to when Black Ops, I think it was Black Ops 1 was in the Vietnam. Was that Vietnam?
I think so.
Which one was the Vietnam? I remember one of them went to the Vietnam War and stuff.
It was World at War, wasn't it?
Was that Black Ops?
I unfortunately wouldn't know. I haven't played.
Black Ops 1. I think Black Ops 1 went to. Was it?
Yeah, it was Black Ops 1. I remember that now. Yeah,
because you get like napalm, you can get like napalm strikes and like attack dogs and stuff, like, because they were bringing it back. You know what I mean? And have like drones and stuff. So like, I don't know. I think if they took I think you're right. I think Battlefield 1 is going to change the game for the first-person shooter market. Mainly, Call of Duty is going to wake up and realize we got to do something different. We got to.
Yeah. Wrapping up talking about Sony, I think we have to, of course, touch again on the new game from Hideo Kojima, Death Stranding. Now, again, when it was announced, I think all we got was like a 20-second footage of some weird shit going on with Norman Reedus, but I mean...
Oh, yeah, that's the Norman Reedus one, okay.
Hideo Kojima, again, has definitely made his name. He is one of those developers that when he announces something, people take notice. And I think it's kind of interesting, again, that this was, again, Hideo Kojima and Norman Reedus are going to team up with... Oh, I can't believe I forget his name. Oh, the director from Pacific Rim...
Benicio del Toro?
Yeah, him, and they were going to do the whole Silent Hill
Benicio del
thing.
Toro is an actor.
Guillermo del Toro.
Who am I thinking of then?
Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo.
You're thinking Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro. The Del
Oh,
Toro.
that
Del
made
Toro.
my day. I'm never letting you live that down, James.
Damn you.
Be like, hey, you see that new Benicio del Toro movie, James? Wasn't it good?
So they were all teaming up to make Silent Hills /PT, and that whole got canned, and then the very ugly business started coming out about Hideo Kojima and his ties with Konami. And this was definitely like his moment in the spotlight again, revealing that footage. Someone showed like a picture of him drinking out of a mug titled Konami's Tears. So I think Kojima really doesn't give a crap anymore about Konami.
He doesn't. I was expecting him to flip off like or say something bad about Konami at the conference. I was just waiting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you want to say something.
Yeah.
Josh, I almost thought you were going to say Hideo Konami and his ties to Islam. I thought you were going to say. It's like in my head, that's what I heard. I was like, what?
That would be like one hell of a plot twist, though.
Yeah. That would be a Kojima-sized plot twist there.
That would be a Kojima-sized plot twist. He's been Muslim the whole time.
Now, the one like real surprising though is I heard that Hideo Kojima and David Hayter, there's like a little bit of bad blood between them. Like I don't think Hayter doesn't want to work with Kojima anymore. Which I think that was kind of surprising. But getting back to Death Stranding.
Oh, before you move that, did you know that Konami is actually doing another Metal Gear?
Yeah, as a pachinko game.
I think so, and this isn't like a remastered version of Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah, something like that. But they're getting really big into pachinko and mobile gaming and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely a strange thing. And as a tangent there for a second, it's kind of interesting to see where Konami has really fallen. They've lost the guy behind the Metroidvania style games. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Now Hideo Kojima is gone. I can't think of any other like big name franchise out of Konami right now.
They lost their main guy.
Tekken? I know that's no Tekken is
Tekken is Namco.
Yeah.
Namco. That's Namco.
Yeah, there's just like nothing out of Konami. So hopefully they'll at least earn somewhere. We may be talking about them like we did with THQ. And one last thing regarding Sony's conference and sort of like the third party thing, I almost forgot they did announce a new Injustice game. That may have been after the Sony conference, but it was announced.
Yes!
NetherRealms Injustice.
Yeah. That is looking very interesting. I'm really curious to see, for those of you who didn't hear the announcement, they're doing sort of like a metagame system where you get like pieces of costumes and gear that you equip on your characters.
Yeah,
and it like gives them
fighting style.
Yeah.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see how that pays off, because I know that a lot of competitive gamers don't like metagame content when it comes to a competitive atmosphere, because it changes little things around. So I'm really interested to see how they're going to take it. Now I know they're going to have like vanilla mode you can play, so no one has any gear. But I know when they did Street Fighter Cross Tekken, I think a lot of people didn't like that game due to like the metagame components.
It's funny. The fighting game community has a really big mixed view on what's going on with Injustice right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're saying, and a lot of people that have got a chance to play the game early, a lot of YouTubers and stuff have been saying that the game plays wonderful. It's just an overall improvement from Injustice 1.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of the coolest things I really liked is that they made Batman and Superman play relatively the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they some people were saying yay, some people were saying nay. I'm a yay, because I think you need a Ryu and a Ken character in your fighting game franchise that if you do another one, people can come back and be like, okay, I still remember how to play this. You know what I mean? Down forward A is still fucking Fireball. You know what I mean? Like,
well, those are also your two icons, so people are going to be picking them first.
Yeah.
Like the Ken and Ryu
Obviously.
of the game.
Yep.
Exactly. And I'm excited. Yes. Give
I'm
it to
really
me.
hyped.
I just really, really hope they do a better job with the PC port this time.
Dude, when it comes to fighting games, no one cares about PC.
Aw.
Oh, of course not.
Mhm.
I hope the story is as good
Yeah.
as the
Mhm.
last one, because the first Injustice spawned so many great comic books,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and also spawn literally, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't watched Batman versus Superman. I
Mhm.
won't go into real spoilers, but there are a lot of influences from that game
Yeah.
in that movie.
Yeah,
Story
especially that
points
scene that I
specifically.
can't say.
Yep.
Mhm.
And I was like, but I think it's too soon for them to go that route. That's just me though, because they just gave us a Superman.
It's exciting. I'm excited. So you know what? I'm like, how this could affect the comics, I'm really interested to see, because I didn't see that coming from the
Mhm.
first installment.
Yep.
And so now I'm just like, all right,
Yeah.
here we go. Let's get some real flavor. Because there's one thing DC does right, with the exception of TV. The movies, say what you will, I still like them, but people are all on the fence, whatever. But video games, they've been doing right.
Yeah.
Yes, and animation.
Marvel
Yes.
need to step it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we gotta be careful. We start talking Marvel versus DC, we'll be here till 1 o'clock in the morning.
I'm a fanboy
that's
of
true.
both, but hey, I have opinions.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, and Injustice, it's really interesting about how much NetherRealm has really stepped up their game over the last few years.
And took care of the IP. They really took care of that IP and did the fans a service and did the fighting game community a service. People were playing Injustice for a while. They kept coming out with new stuff. It's in NetherRealm's hands. It's literally it is Mortal Kombat Light with DC flavoring.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. Sometimes you don't want to sometimes you want to punch a dude into the atmosphere. You don't want to rip his head off. You just want to
That's
Exactly.
true.
you know.
Yeah.
I think it was a good. I think splitting them was a really great plan. Not keeping them together like they did with that one game.
Come on,
we shall not speak
say
of.
it. Don't say
Don't
it.
bring it up.
Don't
It's
say
a
it.
forgotten game.
Don't say it. Can't say
It's like Voldemort's name, the game with no name.
It's like the Scottish play. You can't say it.
Mhm. And my hope for Injustice 2, as a fan of the cartoon series, I would love if Mark Hamill does his role as the Joker, because I know
He will.
Yeah.
That man is the joke. Him and
No, bring Troy Baker. Troy Baker needs to do it.
Troy Baker wasn't bad. He wasn't bad.
Mark Hamill's doing the Killing Joke. He can't have it all, y'all. Come on now.
That's true. The Killing Joke, I'm hype. I read a comic 8 times.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Let's
it's gonna be good.
at some point we do need to have a Marvel DC theme cast at some point.
Definitely.
Yeah, but we are getting a little bit late, so let's move on to our final 2 topics. Then we'll talk about Nintendo, and then I do want to talk briefly about sort of the big VR push. I think that'll be a good place to end the cast on.
Okay.
So, Nintendo, of course, didn't have a quote-unquote conference like the other major studios. They simply had their whole the Treehouse presentation for the whole day. So they revealed some interesting things. I'm trying to think. I know Zelda, of course. So I'm trying to think of some of the other names. They did reveal. What was that?
I said there's no point talking about Nintendo. They are doing nothing.
Zelda, the news Legend of Zelda is something to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
But that is it. I'll give you that. That is it.
Yeah. They announced the new Paper Mario RPG. I went yay! There's a new one. They said, but the combat's not going to be as good. I'm like, oh. That's pretty much my whole reaction to that. Because I remember
Pokemon Sun and Moon. What are you talking about?
There's that.
But that's it. That's it. Okay, that's it.
They announced new amiibo, so my inner collector can be slightly happy, but other than that, there's been no announcements regarding what else they're going to be used for. Zelda, I'm interested in, and of course there's the double-edged sword with talking about Zelda. The director gave the super flimsy excuse about why Link couldn't be a woman, which just like annoyed a lot of people.
Well, a lot of people think Link is Zelda anyway,
Yeah.
so they could have rolled with it.
Yeah. I think that's so minute, though. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and don't get me wrong, the new Legend of Zelda does look good, but let's face it, I feel like until Nintendo's biggest splash that they made was Splatoon.
Yeah.
Like, and
as a new property too.
As a new property. Well, not just this new but like just something new. Period. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you're going to have a new Pokemon game. You're going to have a new Mario game. You're going to have a new Legend of Zelda. But like, you know, they have their IPs and they stick to them, and they're good at their IPs. But they are becoming like Madden. You know what I mean? They're becoming like EA, where it's okay. We expect the next thing next year. You know, and I'm surprised they haven't talked anything about like Splatoon updates or updates on, you know what I mean? Like, Splatoon is their new IP, so you think they'd give it a little bit more, maybe bring back Star Fox VR, like nothing, nothing.
No.
Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo. This will probably be
pretty dope with VR.
They did.
Cut you off.
Oh, I'm sorry. They did say that they are not interested in doing VR, like until it becomes more mainstream. I think was the quote, something along those lines. Well, that will probably be a segue into the VR talk. VR talk in a few minutes. But yeah, there really wasn't anything like, oh my god, out of Nintendo. Yeah. Like, as you were just saying, James, regarding Splatoon, like, that's their big new thing, and there was, like, no information on it. Yeah. And the same thing with the Amiibos. Like, when they first announced the Amiibos, they were talking about, oh my god, this is going to be amazing. You're going to be able to get so much value out of these things.
They become collector's items that just sit on a shelf.
Exactly, like my shelf behind me right now. Like, Ezekiel has the Xbox staring at him, I have my wall of Amiibo staring at me right now. Yeah. So this is the part where I gotta be careful not to say anything bad. They'll attack me.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to Legend of Zelda, does anyone really care when he's not being used in a Smash Brothers game?
Yes. Yes, and the reason I gotta say that, and this is gonna sound so horrible, but and please, I have a girlfriend and I have a mother and I have sisters. Girl gamers are huge when it comes to like Legend of Zelda is actually really big with females. Females have really taken over that as something to really look forward to. I think I was looking at some of the sales for when Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time came to when they said they were going to re-release them and update them for 3DS, and the predominant buyers were women, like who grew up playing Legend of Zelda, and I think that's it. You can't have he's that's such a big franchise that there is enough pull for him, and he is a moneymaker when it comes to Nintendo. You know, you can't be a video gamer and not at least give some respect to the Zelda franchise.
I give respect to it. I just feel like compared to heavy hitters like Mario and Sonic, it's like, okay, and then you have Zelda. It's like Zelda's a close third. Like, personally for me, like, I know it's sacrilegious to speak ill of Legend of Zelda, but I'm just like, they didn't make a Mario versus Zelda game. They made a Mario versus Sonic. That's all I'm saying.
But Sonic's biggest pull is the fact that he wasn't a Nintendo property, while Link has been in numerous Mario games. I just want to put it this way. To Nintendo fans, Link is just as important as Mario. To the video game audience as a whole, I definitely agree with what you're saying. Because I think that if you look at a full-on gamer who's just a gamer for everything, they're not going to put Zelda up there with a lot of the other IPs.
I think that's a really good point there too, James. I mean, if you just stick to Nintendo, like you don't play any other platforms, any other games, then of course a new Zelda's gonna be this amazing thing. But like for like people like us, like when you start getting to like the multi-platform, especially like a lot of people these days who are both console and PC gamers, especially when we get used to the independent market and a lot of the variety there, Zelda doesn't really do like by itself anything, oh my god, amazing, I need to buy it day one kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll give you my example. I have not played Skyward Sword yet. I know it's out there. I know it's probably amazing. I know a lot of people loved it, but I have just not had that itch to play another Zelda game. I even bought I can't believe the C one that was re-released.
Oh, Wind Waker.
Wind Waker. Thank you. Yeah, that's another good point. Like
I
bought
that since GameCube.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they re-released it for the Wii, I think, at some point. I played like 20 minutes, I go, yeah, this is alright, I remember this. I was like, okay, let's go back to something else on the PC.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of been Nintendo's real struggle. They're one of the big examples of a studio that has really become its own echo chamber. They don't really step outside to look at the other markets, the other people, and try to get more awareness. Now, on one hand, you got, as I think you guys are saying, you have to respect them. They make some really great games.
Yeah.
But it's just really hard to get excited about the umpteenth Mario game or the umpteenth Zelda or Metroid. I mean, hell, look at what happened this year with games like Undertale and Stardew Valley. Like, relatively unknown indie games with huge creativity and imagination behind them.
Yeah.
And it's just really hard to see that out of Nintendo. And what you guys were saying again earlier regarding Splatoon. Like, if I was Nintendo, I would be pushing the hell out of Splatoon.
Yeah.
When you have a brand, something completely original that people love, especially from a studio or company that's not known for original properties, they should be, you know, shouting from the rooftops about that game.
Yeah, very true.
Trying to think if there's any other news regarding Nintendo.
Star Fox VR. I think the biggest problem with Nintendo, they're so traditional that they don't want to really look at what other people are doing. And it's like, I know they don't want to get involved in the VR, but I know tons of people that would get back in Nintendo if someone told them, yo, Star Fox VR. Star Fox, like, you can fly the ship now. You know what I mean? Like, you're in the ship now. Like, and I know it sounds bandwagony, and it probably is a little bandwagony, but I think that would get people, wait, Nintendo's doing something relevant?
I agree with you, because they can do that with Metroid. Freaking, you're inside Samus suit now, and you got that. Yeah. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
return Samus to her action horror.
Yes.
Action horror genre.
Like the Metroid
she
Prime.
She was one of the originals, if
series,
not the original action sci-fi horror.
Yeah. And like they have just so many ideas that they're just not really, I think, properly connecting. Like, again, imagine if you had, like, the amiibos that could unlock specific things, or have, like, high-quality Metroid, like, release a new Metroid game with VR and have, like, the figurines like Ridley and Mulder Brain, like, have that go along with it and just hit someone with all that marketing.
Yeah.
And would be amazing. I mean, it's the complete opposite of what Blizzard does, going back to them with Overwatch. When they release Overwatch, you can get bonuses for Hearthstone and Diablo and
they cross-sell.
Exactly. And I just don't see how Nintendo now. I missed this, so please correct me if I'm wrong. Did they announce anything regarding the Nintendo NX? Has there been anything new on that front?
I think they mentioned that it's coming. And that they did mention that the new Zelda title will be on NX and current gen. But I think that's it. Like, I think that's all they've said about it.
Yeah, and I'm just really confused, or I'm concerned if they're going to do anything more like the whole gamepad tablet thing as well. Because we saw them, hype the Wiimote and Nunchuck, and now no one dare speak of that.
Yeah.
All right, but I think with that, let's move on to our final topics then. I think this will be briefly, because I know we're approaching the 2-hour mark. I had a feeling this was going to happen too. But let's get to our final topic, and it's sort of what we've been hinting at over this whole cast, and that would be VR. If there's any big takeaway from the E3 presentations and conferences this year, with exception of Nintendo, of course, it has definitely been the push for VR. We didn't mention this during the Sony section, but Sony announced their own VR system for, I think, $400. Everyone is trying to get on the VR, Oculus Rift, whole shebang of VR thing. And I'm quite interested to see what you guys think about this. On previous casts, when I had Ken on, he's the VR evangelist. He's the one he is VR support 100%, and I'm the skeptic on that front. And so I'm just curious for you guys. What do you make of like VR and the push into the game industry? Do you think it's going to be this monumental thing or not?
Depends on the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it comes down to the game and the gameplay specifically and how it works. That's why when they announced like Arkham,
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, okay, you're now telling me that I can be my favorite superhero and see from his point of view. This excites me.
Mm-hmm.
But is the gameplay going to still feel like Arkham, but just from that point of view, or is it all going to change?
Yeah. All right.
I think the VR would work better if it was like, if you had to like how PlayStation tried to do the whole with the, you know how when Killzone 3 came out, they had like this whole controller that looks like a gun.
Yeah, the PlayStation, was it like the Move? Was that it?
Yeah, if they do something like that, then okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to figure out what they're going to do with Arkham and how the combat will work, unless you, like, you know how the combat is in the game.
Yeah.
Are they going to expect you to do that with the headset on? You're rolling around your living room and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Assassin's VR.
I can just picture me and my friends just watching whoever's playing Batman at the time attempting to do all this ridiculousness.
There's going to be a lot of people getting hurt.
Yes, I can say that.
In the hospital.
What did you do? My friend was playing Arkham. I walked to the side of him and I got smacked in the face.
Freaking doing cartwheels. What are you doing? I'm playing Batman.
Was jumping off a roof and somehow ended outside my window. I don't know what happened.
People try to do swan dives in their living room.
I'm going to attempt to glide this building.
No, you sit down on your couch and that's how you're stealth in the game.
You know, going back to Sonic for a second, that would be a great point of view.
Yo, jogging in place and nuts.
You can get cardio, work out, you know, it's great.
Yeah.
You just have to close your windows before you play the game, otherwise people are going to judge you. Like,
close the blinds.
Especially playing Batman.
Well, actually, I mean, I remember like 2 years ago, there was this thing that's in production. They're trying to make it an actual thing where it's a machine that you like stand in, but you can move. You're not moving, like, you're not moving forward or backwards. But you're moving in place, but it's still fun.
I think like, Ken was talking about this. Like, I think it's like an Omni treadmill.
An Omni walking. What do you call those things where you jog on the machine?
Treadmill.
Yeah, Omni treadmill.
Yeah, I think that's what I was hearing. Then that could be useful. But I think part of the problem, and again, we could spend another hour talking more the specifics, is like the price barrier too. Like, if you're getting the Sony, you need the console. And then you need another $400 for the VR.
And then you need a new house because you have too many things.
Yeah. And speaking about trying to integrate like video games into exercise, I get to really date myself with this one. I remember back in the 90s, people were experimenting with a exercise bike that was hooked up to its own kind of like game system or specific games. And like, in order to make the character move faster, you have to like pump your legs faster, or to slow down you pedal less and stuff like that. And I thought that was really interesting, at least, you know, back 20 years ago kind of thing. But with VR, I spoke to a developer, I think it was last year, who's another huge VR evangelist. And what he said, I think, really stuck out, was he saw the future of VR not in the game industry, but more for like augmented reality and applications in real, like day-to-day life. And I'm just not seeing like the video game side really exciting me over VR. I mean, I can just imagine myself getting really dizzy looking at that. They announced, going back to Ubisoft, there was this game, like it was a VR game with like birds flying around Paris kind of thing. And the whole time I was watching, I was getting like dizzy just watching it from my room. I could just see people just getting nauseous as hell playing that.
Well, just like any game, not for every.
Yeah. Oop. Are you still there? Did we lose
Yeah.
him? Okay.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, just like any game that does exist, there are games that work for some people and there are games that don't. Like, yes, that's a big isolation of of this type of a market where people who do have, like, motion sickness and all that, and that's going to really hamper how much money you're going to make. But I just feel like if you're going to try it, you got to go for it.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I just need someone to be like, here it is. Here's our game. We're doing it. You're either going to love it, or you're going to hate it, or you're going to throw up and choke on your own vomit. I don't know. But
That's a horrible way to go.
Yeah.
That is a horrible way to go.
And I would say one more big concern I have that I don't think I've heard too many people talk about this yet, but how is this going to work with multiple VR systems? Like, is someone going to have to buy, like, the PlayStation VR, and buy an Oculus Rift, and buy whatever the hell they're probably going to do with Microsoft? Like, if they don't standardize things, or at least give people, like, a basic model, I think it's going to be a very hard sale for the game industry. It's sort of, I think, going back to, like, the whole Xbox Scorpio. Like, the fact that they're already saying that if you don't have a 4K TV, don't even bother looking at it. But again, as you're saying, Ezekiel, that there is a market for this. There are people who are in the high-end tech crowd, the guys who have to have the latest and best thing. I mean, hell, it's what the PC industry has been selling with all the constant upgrades and stuff. So there is probably going to be a market for that. But it's going to be really, I think, telling when everything finally hits retail and what the general consumer is going to see of it.
Yeah.
All right. I think with all that, this was only supposed to be an hour-long cast, and we are pushing 2 hours. So I think it's definitely time to start to wrap things up. So my final question, this is going to be for the entire group then, is out of E3, what's the one, or I'll make it a little bit more fair, what are like the one or two most exciting things out of the show for you? And let's start with Ezekiel.
For me, honestly, it has to be God of War and Injustice 2.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the things that are exciting me the most.
All right. And we'll go to James.
As much as I love Spider, definitely Injustice. Definitely Injustice, and as much as I did like the God of War, like I kind of fell out. So I'm gonna have to say in Injustice, and then probably Battlefield 1. I'm kind of really interested to get back into the trenches again. I think that's gonna be fun.
Okay. And lastly, Will?
I would say God of War and Battlefield 1. I like fighting games, but I'm not really into fighting games like that. But I am hyped about Injustice. That's like one of the fighting games that I actually did keep on my PS3, the first one. But yeah, God of War, I've been playing since the first one, and I'm like super fanboy. I nearly cried when I saw the trailer. I did. But yeah, I'm hyped.
Oh, I guess now I have to narrow down too. I guess for me, I think one would definitely be Resident Evil 7. I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with that. And I think the second one, I think would probably be Horizon, because I'm really curious to see like a brand new IP and what they're going to do with that. And I know even though we've talked a lot, there's still probably who knows how many more games that were announced or shown. A few friends of mine were telling me that they had showed footage of Persona 5.
Yeah.
Which I love the Shin Megami Tensei game, so I can't wait to see that. But I think definitely Horizon, and again, if they can really capture and extrapolate what they got out of the Resident Evil 7 demo, I really hope that we see like the next progression forward in terms of survival horror. But again, we could talk for probably another 2-3 hours, but I'm sure we're all tired at this point. So I believe it is time to wrap things up. So James, Will, Ezekiel, it was great hanging out with you guys, and yeah, I definitely think we need to do either another horror theme cast, and at some point we need to touch on Marvel versus DC, because I think those are two really deep conversations we can have.
And I think same cast for the Marvel versus DC one, definitely same cast on that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun. All right, so for those of you listening, we're going to end things here for this week's cast. As always, if you'd like to support Game Wisdom, there are several options available. If you'd like to write a guest piece for the site or be a future podcast guest, you can find all the information and links under Submissions Wanted on the front page. We are looking for everyone, be it student, enthusiast, developer. If you're interested in talking design or the industry, give me a shout out. If you'd like to get the latest updates when content is released, you can subscribe on Twitter and Twitch under GW Bycer. That way you'll get my random thoughts throughout the day, as well as updates for video content, posts, etc. If you'd like to check out said video content, you can find all that on the Game Wisdom YouTube channel. There's a link on the front page, as well as to the Twitch stream. I stream most nights around 10 Eastern with daily content up on YouTube. And last but not least, if you'd like to contribute to the Game Wisdom Patreon campaign to help me secure the monthly funding I need to keep going, you can find me on Patreon under Game Wisdom or by clicking that Patreon banner on the front page. And if you enjoy these podcasts and would like a digital CD version of them so you can keep them on your computer forever and ever and ever, that is now a new reward on the Patreon. So, with all that said, thanks so much for tuning into this very long talk about E3. Thankfully, we only have to do these once a year. Have a great rest of the week, and we will talk to you again next time. Take care, everybody.